So this is the DEPT 135, the peaks with positive intensity, or the CH1 and CH3. We can distinguish between those peaks by running another variant on the DEPT, the DEPT 90, which shows peaks only for the CH1s, the methynes. So if we go to create a data set, again, note the experiment number is incremented, select. The DEPT 90 is not in this recommended list, so if we uncheck that box, we get a longer list. Now we can go down to C13 DEPT 90, select that one, and click OK, and that loads that parameter set. And again, we can update our title. This is now the DEPT 90, and click OK. And that experiment gets set up. And we would probably run this with the same parameters that we did for the DEPT 135. So again, we will adjust our sweep width to match that of the 135. If you've forgotten, you can always, so we can go back to the acquisition parameters and look to see what we collected. Again, it was 100 ppm for the sweep width with an offset at 50. So if we go back to that again, we can adjust that. Our sweep width we will set to 100. Also, number of scans, we only collected 128 before and had good signal to noise, so that will be adequate there. And again, we'll go down into the offset and put that back to 50 ppm as well. And we can go to acquire. Again, we've already locked and shimmed and done all that, so at this point we can just acquire our spectrum and tell it to go. We can look down below at the residual time and see that we've got about a 12-minute acquisition, the same as we had for the DEPT 135. As before, we will not sit here and watch the whole thing acquire. We will break the video and come back when this is nearing completion. So data collection at this point is complete. We will need to process the spectrum, so we can go to Process, click Process Spectrum, and now we have a DEPT 90 spectrum. The only peaks we see are the CH1s. Typically, when I'm doing the analysis, I will overlay this with the DEPT 135, since the distinction I'm trying to make is between the CH1s and CH3s. Although you could overlay with the carbon spectrum if you prefer. Again, we will adjust those. Just preference, I've always put my carbon on the bottom and then the depth spectrum above that. And we can adjust the scaling by clicking in that lower left-hand box to pick one spectrum or the other. And now we can see the peaks that are CH, and then the other ones would be either CH2 or CH3, and again we can distinguish those by the DEPT 135, which we have already acquired. And here I've overlaid the DEPT 135 as well, so now we have all three of those. And the peaks with positive intensity on the green, the DEPT 135 spectrum, that are present there, that are not present in the blue, the DEPT 190, would be the methyl groups. So it looks like we have 4 methyl groups out around 40, 2 of them around 20, and then actually 1 around 20 or 21 or so, and then 2 more out around 15. actually around 12. Now we can see our three methyl groups. This is one of them here, and then we've got two more down below. But we can distinguish those by the shifts and by their absence in the DEPT 90.